Working on updating my website, and this topic came to mind. So I said, hey, why not? So the topic of today is don't feel bad for doing what's best for you. And I used to be that person, and so I feel like this is a good topic for us to talk about today. For those of you who are joining, my name is Monica Bundy. I am a wellness and stress management coach for busy professionals. I teach you how to prioritize your life as well as to develop healthy habits so that you can stop feeling overwhelmed and enjoy your life. I hope y'all having a good day. It's cloudy here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's not raining, but it's very cloudy. So I've been inside working on my website, reaching out to people, and so I'm taking a break to talk to y'all. Don't feel guilty for doing what's best for you. So, just a little FYI, I wrote down some notes because I wanted to make sure that I covered what was on my mind when the topic popped up. So, don't feel bad for doing what's best for you. Here's why that's important. 90% of the time, the people who you are considering when it's time for you to do what's best for you, when it comes time for them to do what's best for them, they are not going to consider you. You aren't even going to cross their mind. They're just going to do what it is that they have to do or that they want to do because they feel that's what's best for them. So it's important that you do the same thing. And so 4 main things came up when I thought about this topic. And when you feel bad or guilty for doing what's best for you, or prime example, if it's something that needs to be done, you know it's what's best for you, and you start to question other things that you could be doing. You start to feel guilty or that you're taking away from other things because you're doing something that you need to do for you right now. And so I have 4 things or 4 subtopics that I want to cover in this situation. So when you feel bad or guilty about doing what's best for you, you question your every move. It's hard for you to make decisions because you're wondering how this person's going to feel. You're wondering what this person's going to say. You're overthinking what other things you could be doing, and it's delaying you or preventing you from taking action. It's preventing you questioning your every move prevents you from making progress. You're stuck on perfection. You're constantly thinking about what you could be doing for other people or for other tasks or whatever the case may be, and you're not doing anything. You're not doing what's best for you in this very moment. Girl, you have to say, look, I got to do what's best for me. You have to give yourself time. If this is where you are right now, let me give you a tip. You have to put your foot down and say, I need 15 minutes to myself. I need 20 minutes to myself so that I can keep my sanity, so that I can regroup, so that I can clear my mind. You have to do these things for you. And when you when you don't feel guilty about doing what's best for you, you will start to show up for other people in a better, a stronger way. You'll start to be more present for your boys. You'll start to be a happier person. Like, if this is where you are right now, like, I give you a high five for admitting it. But I also want you to know that this is not where you have to stay. So your right now doesn't determine your next minute. And reach out to me, because I would love to work with you and help you to determine like why you feel like that, so that you can move forward and be more be cautious and allow yourself to get back in that place. So reach out to me on Facebook or here, or my number's still the same, so reach out to me. So that was the first thing. When you start to feel guilty about doing what's best for you, you question your every move. And oftentimes you question yourself so much that you don't make progress. You procrastinate. You don't take any action at all. And you get stuck on thinking about all the other things that you could be doing for other people. The second thing is, when you feel guilty about doing what's best for you, you don't celebrate yourself. You don't celebrate your small wins, your big wins, regardless, whatever it is, you don't celebrate them. You don't talk about them. And that used to be a place where I was. And here's the thing. When you are around people who don't think big like you, they don't dream big like you, they aren't working towards living a better lifestyle, they just, like, you're on the two different pages. When you're on a different page with someone else, guess what? Yeah, it might seem like you're bragging to them because they're not working with the same mindset as you. So you have to learn to not feel guilty about what it is that you're working towards, and learn to celebrate your small wins and celebrate your big wins. Celebrate yourself. You can't, when you start to question your actions and how people are going to feel about what you're doing, when it comes to celebrating yourself, you don't. And then you find yourself constantly working. You find yourself busy all the time, feeling like you have to constantly be doing something. But the truth is, once you, like, I have a to-do list of things that I've been working on this morning. And once you start crossing off things off your to-do list, you start, accomplishing things, you feel better about yourself. So can you imagine how you feel? Or if you feel like this, like you feel like this because you're constantly working, you're constantly, doing stuff, and you're constantly internalizing the things that you should be celebrating. The very moments you should be happy, and you're not, because you feel guilty about doing what's best for you. And I'll never forget, one time I was talking to one of my friends from undergrad, Brittany Owens, and I was telling her like how I was feeling, and she was like, Monica, it's not your responsibility to force people to want a better life for themselves. And I was explaining to her how, I would feel bad or kind of feel guilty for my self-improvement, my personal development growth, because the people around me, or the people who I expected to still be in my circle, weren't. And so you have to know that when you do what's best for you, the outcomes that are best for you is what's going to take place. It's going to manifest. It's going to happen. Okay? So learn to celebrate yourself. When you feel guilty or you feel bad about doing what's best for you, you kind of put that on the back burner. You throw your accomplishments in the back seat and you just keep driving. Like, you can't do that. So learn to celebrate yourself. Small wins and big wins, okay? So then the next thing that happens, and I kind of already touched on this, but the next thing that happens when you feel guilty or bad about doing what's best for you, you're constantly working. You're constantly, like, doing something, trying to prove that what you're doing is what's best for you. And eventually this leads you to feeling burned out. You're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you just feel tired. And when you get to this point, nothing that you, like, okay, so when you get to this point, guess what? No amount of sleep is enough. And I'm telling you, because I've been there. And You do not want to feel like this. And if you feel like this, accept it, but also take responsibility to let it go. Stop feeling guilty for doing what's best for you. Like, it doesn't have any positive effects on our minds, our bodies, or our souls. Then it goes into your career. It goes into your business. It goes into relationships with other people. Like, stop feeling guilty for doing what's best for you. And then the next thing that happens when you feel guilty for doing what's best for you is you start to resent people. And here's the reason why. You question whether you should do what you know what's best for you, and you question whether you should do it or not because you're considering how the other people might feel. And so then here comes their turn where they're going to start doing what's best for them. And guess who they are not thinking about? You. So then you start to resent them. You start to feel a certain type of way. And who's to blame? You can't blame them. You have to accept that this was something that you allowed to continue. It became a cycle. And you have to pump your brakes. So stop feeling guilty for doing what's best for you. Like this, it's your responsibility to do what's best for you. Nobody else can do what it is that you need to do for you. Whether that's mindset work, whether that's physical action, whatever it is. You can't feel guilty about it. Because the effect that it has on you is not positive. So you're doing yourself a disservice. Even if you are taking the actions that you know you're supposed to be taking, but you don't think positive about it. Like, you don't believe that it's what's best for you, or you don't believe that the outcome that you're hoping for is possible for you. It's never a good outcome. Like, what's here becomes our reality. So I want y'all to take this live stream take it serious. And if you have been feeling guilty or feeling a certain type of way, or feeling like you got to prove that what you're doing is what's best for you, like if you feel like you got to prove like I'm doing this because this is best for me, don't stop doing that. Eventually people will catch on. If they don't, hey, it wasn't for them to catch on to. And you have to learn too, like this is a whole nother live stream, but sometimes people, they see your potential in you and they get intimidated. So while you seeking validation from them and they know it, they're not going to validate you. They're not going to celebrate you. That's why you got to learn to always celebrate yourself. The small wins and the big wins. And be happy that you're doing what's best for you. And be confident in knowing that by you doing what you feel is best for you, the outcome is going to be beyond what you can imagine. I'm telling you, don't feel guilty for doing what's best for you. And I have a small list of things that we may not even consider signs that we do feel guilty in situations when we're, growing, working on personal development, evolving, whatever the case may be. So the first thing is self-care, taking time out for yourself. I talk to people all the time and they say, well, when I'm working on, when I feel like I'm doing something for myself, I really could be doing something for my kids, or I really could be doing something for my business, or I really could be doing something. No, cut that out. When you're working on your self-care, when you're spending time with yourself, that's what it is. And to be honest with you again, when you are working on your self-care, you're spending time with yourself, you're in the tub, you're whatever it is, you go into the spa, you getting your nails done, you out to eat. If you are doing these things but you have negative thoughts about it, it's like oil and water. It doesn't mix. So that's one sign that you're guilty or you feel bad for doing what's best for you. The next sign is you don't say no. Like, you're so quick to be there for other people. You're so quick to say, yes to what other people need, and that makes you say no to you. If you have to say no to you when you're saying yes to other people, then you shouldn't be saying yes. You should be always saying yes to yourself first. Like, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it says you cannot pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first, okay? The next thing is setting boundaries. So some people think that setting boundaries is a bad thing, but setting boundaries is a great thing, especially when you're dealing with other people, and also when you're setting guidelines onto the things that you're allowing, your time, setting boundaries with, healthy eating, when you're having cheat days. You can't feel guilty for doing what's best for you. I promise, if you take what I'm saying into consideration, it will definitely be life-changing. Set boundaries. If you find yourself feeling bad or not setting boundaries at all, that is a problem. The next thing is asking questions. So a lot of times people will, before they ask a question, what they'll do, apologize. Well, I'm sorry, but I have a question. Asking that question is what's best for you in this moment right now. So stop apologizing. If you have a question, if it's something you don't understand, ask questions. Do your research. Do whatever it is that you need to do to understand. Stop apologizing. The next thing is be yourself. Now, this is a big one, especially for the women in my community, because majority of us are introverts. And so when we say, no, I'm not going to attend, we often feel like we have to explain that we are introverts and that we're not attending because we don't like large crowds. Or we have to explain that when you are you're in a setting with more people, you have to explain that, oh, I'm not antisocial, I'm just an introvert. Like, just be yourself. You don't have to explain who you are or why you're acting a certain way. Be yourself. And if you feel like there are people around you that won't accept you for being you, then they don't need to be around you. So stop feeling guilty for just simply being who you are. And if you're an introvert, high five, team introvert. The next thing is, if you find yourself feeling guilty or feeling bad for dreaming bigger, for having standards, for wanting more out of life, oftentimes the sign of that is you don't talk about it. So you constantly thinking about more, you're constantly working towards more, but you keep it to yourself. Like, don't feel guilty for wanting more out of life. And talk about it, because you don't know who you will inspire to also want more out of life in the process. Okay? And so then the last thing is healthy habits. And so a very good example that I have for this is eating healthier. Oftentimes people will develop a new lifestyle, or they will what's the word I'm looking for? They'll try something new. Let's put it at that. So oftentimes people will try something new, and then they feel like they have to explain why they're trying it or what they hope will come from it. And when we talk about eating healthier, oftentimes this takes a strain on your social relationships or your social life, because you don't want to explain that, oh, well, and I'm going to use myself for an example. So I eat gluten-free. And so you don't want to have to explain that, oh, well, I'm getting a salad and there's like a lot of good stuff on this menu, but I eat gluten-free and everything else has gluten in it. Or this particular place doesn't have a gluten-free menu, so I'm just going to stay safe and eat a salad. Like, most people who know me now, they just roll with it. Like, they don't ask questions. They know what it is. I eat gluten-free, and I'm not explaining myself. It's simple as that. And so if you feel like you want to adapt healthier habits and you're tired, or you are kind of avoiding the negative feedback that you get when you try new things, then guess what? Roll with it. Like, you have to do what's best for you. You can't feel guilty You can't feel bad for wanting to do what's best for you. And oftentimes, more than a few, people put the limitations that they have in their mind about themselves onto you. So when you're talking about, I'm going to start doing this, or I've started doing that, guess what? Sometimes it's because they don't believe that they could do it, or it's in their head, it's impossible, it's going to be too hard. And I don't even want to say vomit, but they throw that negativity up on you. So I hope y'all found this helpful. It ended up being a little bit longer than I planned, but the moral of the story and my biggest takeaway today is that stop feeling guilty for doing what's best for you. It does not have any positive effect on you by doing so. You overthink what other people are going to say, how other people are going to feel, and oftentimes you don't take action at all. And so this leads you to resentment for other people, because when it's their turn and they have to do what's best for them and they're not thinking about you, you start feeling a certain type of way. So take this live stream today, like I said, into consideration. Think about the things that I've said. Compare it to your current lifestyle. And if changes needs to be made, I'm here to help you. Click the link in my bio. You're welcome, Roseanne. Click the link in my bio and join my mailing list. And I am working on so many great things. I promise y'all. I've been quiet, but I've been working. So to keep in touch with me, to get updates, tips, strategies, all that good stuff, click the link in my bio, join the mailing list, and I will be back on live stream this week, I think Wednesday. But yeah, and if you found this helpful and you're catching the replay, please drop a comment below. Let me know how you enjoyed it. Let me know if it's helpful. Let me know if you need help with auditing your lifestyle so that you can make changes moving forward. Again, my name is Monica Bundy. I'm a wellness and stress management coach for busy professionals. I help you to prioritize your life as well as to develop healthier habits that are simple but effective so that you can stop feeling overwhelmed and start enjoying your life again. Again, happy Saturday. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.